Okay, I see it. There's the red dot. We're recording. It is 7:05. Okay, I have chat open here. So yeah, let's do it, y'all. If you are not here, then you will miss just the intro. So this is how it works. You know, you wait 5 minutes to actually start, and then you introduce yourself for 5 minutes, and then by the time you're done saying intros, everybody is actually here. Let me make one final adjustment here. Okay, perfect. So I have Zoom chat here, so we can do live Q&A if we want. I'll try and keep an eye on it, and if I miss questions in chat, feel free to heckle because it's like off in this corner, and I'm actually going to be looking over here. Pow, welcome to my Clizass, y'all. This is how to live stream, technology and technique. This is the first of a two-part series on how to stream to the internet, because God knows, as performing artists, there are no stages left in the world now or for the foreseeable future. So many of us are bringing our art to the interwebs via streaming services like YouTube Live or Twitch, or I'm only going to say like 2 or 3 times just to talk shit about them, but Facebook Live, which you should never use. This will be the first of few times that I talk shit on Facebook Live for reasons that I will reveal later in the chat. Basically, okay, let me actually, okay, I'm gonna alt tab over here, and then if I press keys, it does what I want. Perfect. Okay, so who am I and why am I here? I think I know most of you here in chat, but just to give a little qualifier of like why I actually belong here. I have been a lifelong computer nerd, and I was a 10-year professional circus artist. So when the entire circus had to move to the internet, I thought, oh God, all of my friends are gonna DIY and fuck it up, and everything is going to go wrong, and we're all going to get super embarrassed unless I jump in and apply computer nerd skills and know-how and whatever to learning this stuff as quickly as possible so that I can share with the rest of the world. So that's what I'm here doing right now. Yeah, Cassandra, you can call it a savior complex when there aren't people who need to be saved, right? That's the thing. And I'll actually justify kind of like why I'm here. I know you're just heckling, but yeah, that's kind of the situation. All of us have been at a show. Yeah, I mean, you can heckle if you think you're funnier than me, Cassandra. But I warn you, I've been hardened on the street by legions of small children and grumpy old people, grumpy young people, grumpy people of all flavors and stripes. At any rate, I'm here because we have all been to a show in the last year where, yeah, somebody kind of tried to DIY and the show just didn't go out. And the entire first, 3 to 35 to every last minute of the show was not spent watching the show, but instead watching chat go by with everybody being like, can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you. Or we're hearing feedback. Oh God, stop the feedback. Or can't see. And if there's anything worse than a show that doesn't happen, it's the show that like almost happens, but you can't see, right? What Harley used to say, what is the countdown until Richard takes over? Yeah, so you may know me as the person who jumped into the organizer team of Online Circus Fest X, Y, and Z to make sure that the show could actually happen or that people could hear or whatever. Down here, you can see, oh, do you have a, oh, you can't see my cursor here, but you can see my cursor now, right? Okay, great. So over here, you can see, this is my Twitch channel. I'm pretty sure most of you have probably been in Twitch at some point, but Twitch is like a live streaming service where you can pipe people out to the internet. It's basically like the new busking. There's a lot of ways in which like Twitch is sort of the new busking. That's all going to be for next week's class on like streaming culture and stuff like that. What I'm here to do is just get your shit online. Okay, just get it online. How to plug it all in, what to plug into what to buy, what to turn on, what to leave off, like what's hardware solutions, what software solutions. And the plan is to start from just what is an operating system, okay? So why am I here? Because all this stuff is hard. Audio routing sucks. It's confusing to everybody, including me. And I've been a career DJ for like over a decade. Computers are hard. Like how do I install OBS? What's an OBS? How do I install an application? The internet is hard. What's Netiquette about? Like, how do I get my computer talking to a bunch of other computers on the internet? The good news is, I will tell you actually once I get back to the right window, hard stuff is possible. Okay, so like all circus techniques, through practice, you'll get it. You just have to have a tolerance for failure. Okay. And down here, you can see my my stuff if you want to go follow me elsewhere on the internet. So where do we start? I want to just show you that the proof is in the pudding. Okay, I get people. 1 second. I get people around the circus who are like, well, you know, but what if I want to DIY? Like, what if I don't want to hire a pro live streamer? What if I want to, you know, like, okay, you know, what if you're not available? Like, can I just DIY? Like, how does it work? You know, can I just do it myself? And the simplest kind of explanation here is just to show you this demo. Okay, so we're going to see the difference here. Zoom actually doesn't do 60 frames per second, so so two of these are going to look the same. But up here, you can see a 60 frame per second high resolution video. This is 30 frames per second. The captions got cut off. Over here is 15 frames per second, and down here is 8 frames per second. And you'll just see if I hit play. I'm going to skip ahead here. Okay, so you can see, are y'all getting audio right now from this video? Okay, good. I don't want it to be playing. I just want you to hear me. You can see right here that like this video and this video basically look the same, right? They look like normal video. This is a little choppy and kind of hard to see, but like you can kind of get the gist of what's going on, right? This sucks. And if you're trying to show a juggling trick at this frame rate, it's just not going to show, right? The only people who are going to be able to tell what's going on are maybe the other jugglers, and otherwise it's a mess. And honestly, 8 frames per second is like lucky if you're running the wrong kind of hardware, if you haven't tricked out your internet connection, all that kind of stuff. So basically, the plan is like to show you the basic stuff you need to know to get from like this kind of thing to now it's all dark, to get from this kind of thing to this kind of thing. Okay, because it's basically a whole chat full of jugglers, right? So let's press on. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, I'm an expert in streaming, not in Google Slides. Okay. So let's get to the first part of brass tacks. What do you need? Okay, what do I need to like, okay, well, I'm gonna start a live stream. I believe you, Richard Hartnell, that Twitch is the new street performing, and I'm gonna go and become the new Pokemon of juggling and make a grip. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to make sure I'm in the right screen. Okay, essential parts list. Here it is. You ready? Get your pen and paper. There you go. There it is. That's all you need to stream. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm being really fake here because people who try to do it with this, often it doesn't work, right? So here is the potential parts list. Okay, this is all the stuff you could plug in to make your stream gooder, all right? You know, your first computer, your second computer, internet connection, your face cam, maybe you got like a keyboard or an instrument cam, you know, your interviewee cam, your dog cam, your first sound card, second sound card, maybe you got a controller because you're playing video games. You got a head mic for like if you're walking around, you got a condenser mic for like the room. You got your computer keyboard, you got your MIDI keyboard. A Stream Deck is like a little thing that like a scene switcher that you can use to control your streaming software. Any number of musical peripherals you want if you're Autopilot or someone. Your cup holder, your snack table, and Plamp. Okay, this is where I'm going to edge in on Marvin's turf here. Plamp is Twitchese for plant and lamp. That's your decor. Okay, Plamp is the joke because all Twitch decor is like a combination of plants and lamps. All right, let's continue on here. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need to draw a schematic. All right. And now I know like half of you are already like, oh God, it's like technical terminology. But a schematic is just a picture of everything plugged into everything else. You've done this before when you hooked up your PlayStation. Okay. So here's like I think it's an Xbox actually. Here's your schematic for plugging in your video games. Okay. Here's your video game controller. Right. And then what do? You plug the power in over here. You plug your TV in over there. You plug your whatever that is right there. I think it's a connector. It's your HDMI splitter or something, maybe an output. And then here is your connector, whatever it is, right? Yeah, you did not draw a schematic for your Xbox because usually like you have like the 4 cables that you need to plug in. You plug it into the power, you plug it into the TV, you're good to go, okay? Yeah, how do I know which cable to use? Typically, they are all labeled. and you're going to have to learn kind of what some of these ports are. Okay, let me move myself up here, upper left. Okay, perfect. So let's take a look. I'm actually going to bring my other cam in here, video capture device. I'm going to use this one. Okay, so I've actually drawn a sample schematic of my own situation, and it looks like this. Looks like this. Okay, so you can't really necessarily read all this because I didn't make the super legible version before this, but you know, you have essentially I've got like my my computer over here, I've got my other computer over here. This is a sound card, this is a sound card. These are all of my inputs down here. I got my keyboard, I got my viola, I got my guitar. This is an ideal situation actually. I got my DJ gear, I got my my mic that I'm talking in right now, and then all of this stuff you'll notice goes into this comp, which is a sound card. And I'll explain what a sound card is for later. But this comp is plugged in to CPU2. This is my computer. And this computer's job is to run Ableton, OBS, Resource Monitor, Audacity, and it also talks to DroidCam, my Brio, and my hard drive. Okay, so basically what I want to be able to do is plug everything into everything else. I want to be able to draw the picture of how everything plugs into everything else. Now that's where this question comes to light, right? How do I know what cable to use? How do I know what to plug into whatever else? You're going to have to know like an RCA, and these are actually just your main kind of offenders right here. These are the ones that you'll kind of have to know by rote. An RCA cable is your AV cable, like a red and white kind of audio cord. Your HDMI is like a TV plug-in, also DisplayPort. These are the ones you're going to use to plug in your monitors. Power cable, pretty self-explanatory. An aux cable, aka an 1/8 or a 1/4 inch stereo cable, are like headphone jacks. The 1/8 inch is a standard headphone jack. A 1/4 inch is like the elephant headphone jack that you might have seen if you look at like a soundboard or something like that. An XLR is like a mic cable. And then there's good old USB cables, right? Like USB 2, USB-C. Now, you all might be like, somebody in the chat, I'm sure, is flipping out right now, like, oh God, what does all this mean? I'm already in over my head. Don't flip out. Blup. A, devices come with their own cables 99% of the time. B, modern ports only look like the cables that plug into them. So it's impossible to plug in like an RCA to a stereo jack by accident, okay? Most modern cables are cheap and widely available. So you grab like, you know, like $5, you go to a parts store, maybe $10. Probably more expensive cables might run you $20, $40. Yeah, so don't terribly sweat cables. It'll all be mostly self-explanatory. If you buy a camera, if you buy a webcam, it's going to come with a cable. You just plug in the cable to the port that it looks like it's supposed to go in on your computer, with some exceptions that we'll get to. Okay. Yeah, now we know why Ombot's always taking over. Okay. So what now? Oh, yeah, let's talk about this classic time-honored question. Okay, so I got the computer, I got the internet connection, I got a webcam, I got a controller for my video game. Now I got to install software, okay? And there's basically two kinds of software that you're going to use. You need a piece of streaming software that's going to send a signal out to Twitch or YouTube or Zuckerberg or whatever, right? They're basically the piece of software you're going to use is called OBS, and that stands for Open Broadcasting Software. Now, there's two kinds of OBS that are mostly used right now. One is this one on the left is just native OBS. So if you just go try to download OBS, if you type in Google, download OBS, you're going to get this version of OBS, which is an open source, stripped down, totally functional software. There's this other version of OBS. It's like a fork of OBS called Streamlabs Obs. Is this true for Mac? That is a good question. I'm 99% positive OBS is cross-platform. I'm actually pretty sure Slobs is also cross-platform. Slobs is the term of endearment for Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs is a okay. Here's actually where the first place I'm going to break the. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I can drop this down. I can hit Command N. I can go, and then I can just drag this up here. Okay, so now you can see this. Okay, so we're going to go to, download OBS, right? I can type, I promise. I'm also going to close this because it's not important right now. Perfect. Okay, so like, yeah, you got like OBS right here. Now, There's also Streamlabs OBS, which is Streamlabs' version of OBS. Okay, so it's going to do the same thing, but what Streamlabs has done for you is let's actually just go to their website. Okay, all-in-one live streaming software. Okay, so what's this mean? Here's Pokemon right there, and somebody else, Matt Healy, Rockstar. Okay, great. So these are both basically two versions of the same program. What's the difference? This one comes with no extra bells and whistles. This one comes with every single bell and whistle. Sounds great, right? The trick is these streaming softwares are very processor heavy. They're very heavy on your computer, okay? So if what you want to avoid is running every single plugin if you can avoid it. Now, the classic thing to do, I think, is to start with Streamlabs OBS because you want to know what you can do, right? You want to know, like, it comes with a channel bot, for instance. It comes with a robot that hangs out in your channel, looks for spammers, and kicks them out, right? You don't want to waste your time with that. You don't want to waste your time. Like, you want to start streaming now. Don't worry about programming your bot. Don't worry about programming all these filters and overlays and all of this business. Streamlabs OBS, Slobs comes with all of that. The trick is you're going to want to change back to OBS eventually. So the analogy that I always make if you play video games is like Streamlabs OBS is your fighter class, okay? You bust it out of the box and it goes. You're not going to die on level 2 of the dungeon with the fighter, right? Because you got a lot of hit points. It does a lot of stuff. It like can survive in all these different situations. But in the end game, you're going to be limited by this class because your power level, your max power level is a little lower, right? Whereas native OBS is like your wizard class in video games. You start out weaker. There's like less you can do right away. But OBS runs plugins, right? You can plug in all of the features from Streamlabs OBS into OBS, okay? Can you be more specific as very heavy? By very heavy, I mean that it takes a lot of processor juice. Okay, yeah, of course I play Wizard class. You got it, Paul. I also play new video games on hard mode usually. Yeah, of course. Yeah, game recognized game. So if all of this made absolutely zero sense, and you're like, what is a game? I would say start with Slobs first because it comes with a bunch of stuff you didn't know you could even do with streaming software. And then once you figure out kind of what you want to do with streaming software, uninstall Slobs, go back to OBS, rebuild everything in OBS, because you can like learn kind of how this all works on the more accessible software. So Slobs, more accessible, but worse in the long run. Native OBS, less accessible, but more powerful in the long run. Okay, makes sense? Okay, I'm going to take a second to look at chat. I'm going to pause and see if there's any cues, any questions so far about what we are talking about. Yeah, Slobs is like an iPhone. OBS is like a Samsung, like an Android. I'm going to say OnePlus instead of Samsung because Samsung comes with a ton of bloatware and OnePluses don't. Okay, I'm seeing no burning questions in chat right now. Great. Okay, so we're going to press on. So the way this all works is on sources, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to get this software that looks basically like, oh geez, so the problem is I can't figure out how to do this without setting up like an infinite time loop. I know what I can do. I can open this. There's like other, yeah, Slobs is more user-friendly. The problem is it stops being so user-friendly when it chokes and dies in the middle of your stream. Okay, let's take a look at what OBS looks like. Okay, here is classic, good old OBS Studio. We're actually going to go directly into mine soon, but I want to show you all kind of just a static screenshot before I show you like this dynamic whole system, because the whole nature of live streaming is that everything is super dynamic. Okay, everything is constantly afloat, and you're always sort of, it's like surfing. You're always error checking and kind of futzing around with a whole bunch of new things, and everything's happening live. Okay, why can I not? Is it because I'm like, okay, there we go, dude. Okay, so here's OBS, right? you got you can ignore all this as a right click window, but the thing I want to show you here is you have these scenes and you have these sources right here. Okay, let me sorry Buku, let me build this up a little bit. That doesn't help either. Perfect though. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the upper right. Great. Okay, so down here you have scenes, and right here we have sources. Now, a source is anything you want to put in the stream, like a thing, okay? So that could be an audio thing, or that can be a video thing. So if I minimize, and then scenes, you put a bunch of sources together into a scene, okay? So right now, you're actually looking at a scene in OBS, not in this thing. So, this is all so recursive and weirdly embedded. Okay, so if you just look at your Zoom window, what you're looking at is a scene that I've made in OBS. You're actually looking at an outgoing feed from my OBS window. Okay, actually, I will spoil the surprise here right now. Okay, y'all want to see what my OBS software looks like right now? I'm going to drag it in. Okay, you ready for this? This is my OBS window right now. Okay, so I'm going to drag it over here a little bit. Okay, so here are all of my scenes. And these scenes are, okay, here's talkie scene. That's what I'm doing. I'm talking to you all right now. Let me maximize this. Yeah, now it's really weird, right? Yeah, okay, so part of the deal is that one of my sources down here is, let me just take this off for a second. Okay, so here's a scene. Wait, no, I want to keep showing you OBS though. Okay. And this is what you get stuck in with streaming, is that it all turns into these weird recursive feedback loops, not feedback loops. And we're going to talk about feedback a little bit here shortly. All right, yeah, this is the coolest thing about OBS is being able to set up these weird infinite like bizarro loops and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to maximize this so we can all look at it. Okay, so up here we have one source. That is my webcam. I'm going to turn it off and on. Okay. I have another source that is the display of whatever is on this monitor. Right. You see my camera. My camera source is still on and activated, but the window share is deactivated. Now I've reactivated it. Oh, and then I have a background in here. Okay, so let me give you a simple example of a source. I'm going to add a source here. Oh God, this looks terrible. Okay, let me actually fix this. 1 second. I want to add. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new source. You can't see it because I'm doing this in another window right now, and I'm actually going to show. Can I show you OBS? I cannot. Okay, that's annoying. So I'm going to add. I'm not going to see me do. You ready for the new source to appear? I just added an image source. I'm going to bring her down here. Okay. Now I can mess with this source all kinds of ways. I can make it bigger or smaller. I can drag it around. I could just do this in my software. Okay. Seen me going to bring OBS back up here. Okay, so you can see down here in my sources window, everything in this blue box, that's my outgoing stream. Everything in this blue box right here is my outgoing stream. And that's why you can see my camera in it. Also why you can see the feed in it. Does that make sense? It's like really paradoxical and weird, but so right here, this is like my OBS controls. I can turn this hooper. I can take this hooper. Oh, crap. Now I'm like really, okay. I can take this hooper and move it over here. Now, if I go down to my source, I can take this hooper. Oops. There. I can turn the hooper off and I can turn the hooper back on. Okay. So about adding sources, and scenes are made of sources. Let's go to my waiting screen for my DJ scene. This is a scene, and it's got this this text in it. That's one source. That's a text source. This image here, this is an image source. right? This static in the background is also a source. Everything in here is a source. All right, is that making sense to everybody? Yes, Cassandra, you got it. You build the scene in OBS from sources. So if I'm going to go back here. Okay, so if I want to make a new scene, let's make a new scene and call it example scene. Okay, now there's nothing in the scene. Now you'll notice that my feed just disappeared. Sending to Zoom. I'm using an OBS plugin to show you only what is outgoing from OBS. That is actually going to a camera in Zoom called OBS camera. So if I change my camera from OBS camera to, well, oh, darn it. So I can change my Zoom cam to this other camera as long as I remove that. Yes. So now I can go back here. I can go back there. No, okay, I've just ruined it. Never mind. One moment. There. Okay, so I'm in a scene. It's called just my webcam. Right, so let's see. I want to bring us back. What I actually want to bring. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna have to do it like this. It's gonna be a little confusing. For us, yeah, okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go to PS installed. Yes, okay, so to catch up with chat, Cassandra, controls are on the bottom. Scenes and sources. You build the scene in OBS and you make it out of sources. Yes. So this scene that we're in right now, you can see the sources. I'm actually going to remove that because that's not even appearing right now. Okay, so there's Hooper, that's one source. There is OBS, that's a source. That's a source. And there's display capture, and that's a source. Actually, OBS isn't even doing anything right now, so I'm also going to remove that source. Okay, now the Hooper is a source. My webcam is a source, and this capture of everything going on in this monitor is also a source. So I can turn off the monitor capture source. You can still see the webcam and the Hooper. Turn off the webcam source. You can still see the display capture and the Hooper. I can turn off the Hooper, and you can still see my webcam and the share of this display. More or less? Yeah, so okay, so this raises the question, what is a source? What is a source? Yeah, you can make another stream a source on your stream. Yeah, okay, so what is a source? We're making scenes and we're making them out of sources. Let's go back to, okay, so basically what you're most are visual sources and audio sources, okay? Let me bring myself somewhere else. Wrong side. I'll just shrink down a little. Okay, so a visual source might be an overlay, like if you're in my, okay, I can't do that. So like a frame, you want to have like a cool frame that sits over your webcam or something. That may be part of an overlay. We'll talk about what overlays are in a second. GIFs, like the Hooper. The Hooper is a GIF. I can just add that as a visual source. A browser, so like a program that runs in a web browser that you can then tell to go to OBS. You can add a hold as a source, which is what, just take everything on this monitor up here, put it out to OBS as a source. You can add like just a normal ping or a transparent ping or something, or a JPEG. Visual effects like cool fades and funky, dissolvers and animations and stuff to your stream. Animations. So you can add source, usually as a source. You can add color bars like maybe half of my screen is black, or I have like a marquee that's against a black background. That black background might be a source. Audio sources might be basic. Your microphone is an audio source. Someone else's microphone might be an audio source. Someone else, Zoom or Discord, could be an audio source. A musical instrument would be an audio source. My sound is coming in weird, apparently. Is it coming in weird to anybody else? No, in chat. Not okay. Well, I'm just gonna actually just talk directly into the mic. Yeah, music instrument could be an audio source. Your DJ mixer, audio, and browser tab audio could also be a source. Okay, so these are the kind of things you're going to be adding to OBS to display out to your stream. Okay, we've already kind of dove in, but let's dive. Let me bring this back up here. And then I'm actually going to show you a couple of, okay, so here we got, I'm going to bring it in to window. Okay, so now you can see, okay, so here's my taskbar down here. I'm going to bring myself to the upper left. You just saw me transition my camera from the lower left to the upper left, and I did that by changing scenes, right? And it will make a little fade, a little dissolve, right? Okay, so there we have that scene where I added that hooper. It's going to remember, and it's put that in the scene, right? I can switch to this scene, right? I can switch to the this battle night scene. I can switch to all kinds of different scenes, right? Most of these scenes, they don't actually show you an OBS window. Yeah, transitions. So usually if you click from one scene to another scene, there will be a simple fade transition. Okay. Now there's like a million ways that you can kind of steeze out like your I recommend 100 million YouTube tutorial how OBS works. Yeah, here is just my webcam. And then, you know, there's like, we're just scene to scene. Okay. So let's say the scene where I'm in the lower left. Yeah, we're going to add a source. Let's add a simple color source. Oh, I already had it up. Let's add this yellow block. Whoops. Okay, that's really big. Okay, so not this, and I can just stick it. Okay, here's what I can do. I can take this frame. I'm gonna stick it kind of like this. I can take my camera and I can put it in here. Your sources here are in order. Then I can take my camera and I can just fit it to the frame. Oops. That's the wrong slide. And then boom, I have this steezy little like yellow frame. I know the punchline is ruined now. Okay. That's, yeah, we're going to talk about troubleshooting in a minute. So now I have this little like frame, you know, for my camera. And if I, you know, I transition to another scene, that appears, and then I can transition back to this, and the frame stays. Okay. So I want to talk about a couple special kinds of sources here. One is a browser source. If I try and add like a video, basically, so if I try to add like this extra camera, that's like this camera over here. It's this guy. Oh, that's interesting. I can like show you. Okay, extra paradoxes, right? I actually have a microphone, a program called Droid Cam for as a webcam. And guess I have as a source in OBS. Okay. Yeah, scenes are made of sources. Sources could be almost anything. Scenes get built in OBS from sources, exactly. So the yellow block is a source. My webcam is a source. This is another camera source. Do I find that there is lag from the video feed on the Wi-Fi connected webcam with DroidCam? Yeah, but it's pretty negligible. I usually use DroidCam when I need to like pull a camera out of my butt really quick and like point it out the window with something cool that's happening or something. It works great as a like side camera. Like if you want like a top down, like a keyboard cam or something, that can be really useful. The cool thing about DroidCam is if you pay them some negligible amount of money, like $5 or something, then it will stream HD video. So you're good. Yeah, the world is your sourster. Your world is your Worcester. So a browser source is going to be something like you put in a URL to a website, and the website has basically set something up. Can I do this? Can I yeah, there we go. Oh, that's the problem. Okay. Da-da-da. It's a new mic stand, y'all. Sorry. Yeah, it's pronounced Sourcestershire. So a browser source is a URL that you plug in from another website. So let's actually go to good old, not the slideshow. Okay, so we're back here. This is that window. We're still diving into OBS. Okay, I'm actually gonna turn off my weird webcam source so we can see everything. Okay, here is. Let's go to streamelements.com. Okay, Stream Elements is a website that basically enables a lot of other features on your Twitch account. And you notice you could set it up in YouTube or all this other stuff, right? But I set it up through Twitch, okay? Now, Stream Elements, please don't show my stream key to anybody or whatever. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what Stream Elements does, okay? Here, they have all sorts of stuff you can do. You can set up a merch store. You can do all kinds of stuff. But what I care about are overlays. Okay, now I have a whole bunch of overlays back here that I was messing around with. But let's look at my main overlay. Okay, here is something that may look familiar to y'all who hang out in my DJ channel. It's this frame right here. It's this frame right here that usually, excuse me, one moment. Usually my webcam lives, usually there's like some people doing cool juggling stuff in here. I'm gonna, okay, bye yellow box, RIP. Okay, yeah, so it's a little goofy, but you get the idea. There's this frame where usually there's people juggling stuff. Stream Elements doesn't work on Mac. No, Stream Elements does work with a Mac because it's all web-based. So don't run Stream Elements OBS, just run native OBS, but build an overlay on streamelements.com, because then, and you'll notice here's my follower account. It does all kinds of cool stuff. It can here's like a most recent follower where like if you followed, oh, Ryan Fish just followed me. See, look, now I know, right? Most recent subscriber, most recent cheer. I haven't set up my tipping situation yet, but it will show you who the last tipper was, right? And then, so this is like a little framework. Oh, also this thing, yeah, Chibuku, you got it. Chibuku with the punchline ahead of the rest of the joke. Stream Elements is set up as a browser source. So I set this whole thing up, right? And there's all kinds of stuff that you don't actually see in here, right? One thing that you're not seeing is this doodah called CappaGen. And CappaGen, and you'll notice over here, all of these are also layers, okay? These are layers that you basically set up just like sources in OBS. So if I could toggle, okay, Flow TV frame, that's this frame right here. If I turn Flow TV frame off, it disappears. Okay, it like turns gray, so you can't see it, right? If I can turn all this stuff on and off, right? I can turn this frame off and on so it appears or doesn't appear in my overlay. This guy CappaGen up here, you'll notice when I click CappaGen, it doesn't seem to really highlight anything because CappaGen is a frame that lives inside of my main window and is transparent. But what happens if somebody follows me? Well, I also have an alert box set up here, which you also can't see. There's something called alert box. Well, you can't see alert box. Why? Because nothing is happening. But if I tell Stream Elements, hey, go pretend that somebody just threw money in my channel. Pretend that somebody just threw money in my channel. Watch what happens. Right? Pretend that somebody just followed my channel. Right? Pretend that somebody is throwing emotes in my channel. Okay, so this is what Stream Elements is doing, and it's because I've logged in with Twitch, right? It's because I've basically told Stream Elements, like, yes, you can spy on my Twitch account. It's okay because you work for me. Okay, so like Stream Elements has security clearance to my Twitch account. It's watching my chat. It's doing all kinds of stuff. Then when I'm all done messing with this overlay, making it look just like I want it to look, remember my camera in here is not actually, this is not part of Stream Elements. I am just showing you my camera in here through OBS. So I'm actually going to turn myself off for a second there. Okay, so we're going to go back to Stream Elements. This is what it looks like in a browser window, okay? Now at the end, what you do is you go up here, you click this link. It says copy overlay URL. I grab that. I bring it back to OBS. Oh yeah, save first always, because if you don't save, I'm actually not going to hit save because I've been messing with this. But you hit save, and then you get that URL. You bring it back to OBS. And you're going to add it as a browser source. What's a browser source? It's whatever you want, really. I've actually already done that for this source called overlay. So I'm going to add overlay to my OBS feed, to this scene that we are in right now, and let's see what happens. Boom, there it is. I'm going to turn my monitor display off for a second, but there's the overlay. That's it. That's the overlay. Now, here's what's cool about this. If I go to my chat right now, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go, and you're not going to be able to see me do this, but I'm going to bring this browser back here. I'm actually going to go to my channel. I'm going to go to my Twitch channel. Oh my God, one sec. Okay, it's a little goofy. / my own dang channel. Okay, there we go. And then my new computer hasn't learned all of my my autocompletes yet. Okay, so I'm going to go to my channel and I'm going to throw a bunch of emotes on Twitch. And you're going to see them on my overlay because that's the power of a browser source. Okay, so the short version, like the optimum. Okay, the optimum mic stand is the one that you've actually already figured out. Does the Stream Elements emoji wall allow for the moving BTT emotes? Let's find out actually. Yeah, looks like it. Yeah. Okay, so let's okay, where's OBS? God, there's so many windows going on right now. Okay, we're gonna go back here and we're gonna go over there, and then we're gonna remove the overlay, and we're gonna bring back myself and the display capture. Okay, so now I've put myself somewhere weird. Okay, so yeah, so if you want the short version of like what to do, of just like what to run, the answer is run OBS, run native OBS with a Stream Elements overlay. Okay, run native OBS with a Stream Elements overlay. Now, don't go back on what I said earlier. If you're brand new and you're like, what the hell am I doing and none of this works, just install Slobs if you can. Just install Streamlabs OBS, mess around with the bot, mess around with other stuff. Stream Elements also runs a channel bot. So you can dip out. If we dipped out of the overlay section, we could also go back. If you're running Slobs, does it make sense to also use Stream Elements? That's a great question. The answer is kind of. That's actually where you're going to start running into like Slobs and Stream Elements having like really redundant features, which would be fine, except that streaming software is really heavy. So unless you're using like a really stupidly powerful computer, how can you get a channel bot for native OBS? Stream Elements runs one. So, okay, let's actually go back to that. Let's go back to Stream Elements. We're back in here. Okay, cool. So I've built my overlay. I've got my browser source link. That's cool. But now all these bots show up and ask me whether I want to, go and give them all my money on bigfollows.com, right? Which I don't. So I'm going to go over here. Instead of my overlays, I can actually go past the merch store, blah, 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 down here, all the way down to, oh, there's fake channel points that you can set up, and go to my bot. Let's look at my bot modules. Okay, my bot knows how to play roulette. My bot can bingo. My bot can duel. My bot can 8-ball. Hope you're all getting inspired for like ways to keep chat exciting. Oh yeah, I can zoom in. Doot. Okay, and I can also zoom in like that. Pow. Okay. So yeah, these are like games my chat knows about. Right. This is like stuff the bot knows how to do. Do you build the borders with border graphics in Stream Elements? Stream Elements actually has preset themes that you can just install right away. And then essentially like you can basically use like a plug and play overlay and just like just run it out of the box and it'll be fine. You'll want to, as always, you'll want to like kind of trick out like the stock stuff so that it says, you know, maybe you want it to say latest friendo instead of latest follower or something, right? I'm talking a lot more than I usually do on stream. Okay. Where were we? Oh, bots. Okay. So here's where the bot actually becomes cool. Chat commands. Okay. Oh yeah, there's spam filters. So here's like the basic stuff. This is where you can turn links on and off. Here's where you can keep people from spamming emotes. Paragraph protection, which you will never see in my channel. We're going to talk about hydrate button later. Thanks to Theory. Heckle me if I forget to talk about that. Yeah, banned words. Okay, so let's look at the ban. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the banned words list. Edit. Okay, classics. Right. Yeah. So if you say any of the classic things that you're not supposed to say in chat, not like the F word, but like other stuff that I don't say because I'm a white person, the bot will automatically respond edgelord alert and kick you out. Yeah. Okay. So here's a bunch of stuff that you can't say on the internet because you're a dickhead. Also, you can't say fushigi in my channel because I'm about preemptively trolling all trolls. Yeah, real talk. Just don't. It's just not funny anymore, and you'll just get heckled. Timers. These are really useful. I have timers so that every 30 minutes, as long as there's 2 people saying stuff in chat, it says, hey, don't forget to use your Amazon Prime sub. It gives me money. I have a bot that every 63 minutes says, if all you do is vote, you don't get to complain, because it's true. I have the bot every 35 minutes say, hey, buy my stickers over here. That's just the, you know, and you can tell the bot like, you know, every X minutes say this. You can also tell the bot things like, hey, every time somebody says the word, let's edit this one. Every time somebody says the word Discord, say, here's the Discord server. Here's the invite link. Stream Elements is free, Cassandra. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Vits, don't worry. There's plenty more mod controls than my bot. All right. So yeah, this is where you can set up basically a stock, really pretty smart channel bot who can play games and do stuff. You can like your users can like play roulette and duel each other. It's like kind of harkens back to the glory days of IRC and stuff like that for people who are into that. Okay, somebody is buying me gift subs or something. Oh yeah, okay, somebody did buy me a gift sub. Great, props to them. Okay, So yeah, long story short, Stream Elements is your friend. It will help you do all sorts of cool stuff, like run a channel bot. So like Slobs, like this is a big part of what Slobs does. It's like, oh, well, Slobs comes with a bot. And like, oh, Slobs comes with these overlays. Oh, Slobs comes with all of these features. Oh, Slobs comes with all these games and stuff. The trick is it also comes with like 95 other things that you're not going to do, but are still taking processor power. Okay. So the trick is, yeah, Nightbot. Nightbot is also Nightbot is fine. Slobs is free. OBS is free. All this stuff is free. All this stuff is free. You can also pay for like bonus cool versions of this stuff, but like, don't worry about it. By the time you're running into like, should I pay for this kind of stuff? You're overqualified for this class. That's like, do I want to like pay like a? Okay, hang on a second. I gotta figure this thing out. This mic stand is little goofballs. Ah, yes, I figured it out. Okay, there it is. Nice. Okay, we're just gonna adjust it one more time, like so. Like so. Great. Okay, need to like rent a microphone operator on Fiverr. Okay, so yeah, short version long. I do like presently I run native OBS with a handful of plugins and Stream Elements as a browser source overlay. And Stream Elements also runs my bot. The bot is not a source. The bot's not an OBS. The bot is like a separate little dude on the web who's a bot who is allowed to come and hang out in my Twitch chat as a user. And that user has moderator privileges in my channel. Okay, and that's why the bot is able to like time you out or ban you or whatever, right? Yeah, okay. Great. So we have summarily messed around in OBS. We have dove into OBS. Let's take a minute to just talk about OBS questions and stuff. Do I prefer Streamlabs for any of the widgets, or do I think Stream Elements is a better go-to? Good question. I actually don't know what all of the widgets are in Slobs, but as a general principle, anything you wish you could do in OBS that Slobs does, you can do with an OBS plugin, which is basically like installing a plugin to your web browser or whatever. You just download it on the internet. OBS stands for Open Broadcast System, I believe, because it's open source, which is why we know it's safe. And yeah, Nightbot is fine, Senyu. Nightbot is cool. Any bot is cool. Just the less, I mean, Stream Elements, you don't have to pay for the bot. So like, that's fine. Yeah, Streamlabs has similar features for online browser widgets. Any other questions about OBS or Slobs or downloading the software and making it look like you want your stream to look? Stream Elements browser source frees any resources on similar things you would do on your computer. Yeah, because it happens on the cloud. Yeah, Chibuku, actually, the one drawback to using Stream Elements overlays is that they require your computer to constantly be sending information back and forth from your computer to the internet. So, well, okay, we're actually going to talk about troubleshooting in a minute with regards to that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to return to that question. A question about computer sound. Yeah, we'll talk about sharing computer sound here in a minute. Any image categories that don't work as a source? That's a good question. I think maybe WebP doesn't get in there. Basically, you want everything in a transparent ping if you can. OBS handles transparency natively, so you can just straight up. In fact, OBS is actually smart enough that you can just straight up drag and drop stuff into OBS, and it will just pop up as an image source in the scene that you're in. Cool. Any other questions before we press on to audio routing and troubleshooting? Can it do SVG? That's a good question, Buku. I'm not sure. But it will do GIFs. You just drop a GIF in and it will just go. And it's smart enough to do things like, it'll ask you. Oh, that's actually one thing that we didn't talk about. Let me bust this back in here. There's a couple things that I did not talk about that are pretty important. And if you're into Photoshop, basically, wait, I lost the Hooper. Is it because you're not an image source? Oh no, it's this person. Nope, no, it is not. Okay, well, we'll just do it somewhere else. Yeah, Arlene says, no, I'm still here. Where is the scene with the Hooper in it? Okay, there we go. Okay, so here is our Hooper. Here I am in the upper right. Now, here's the source here in my list. I've got the little toggle. I can turn the Hooper on and off. But if I right-click on the Hooper, I get all these different things I can do. And one of the things I can do is look at the properties. And here, do I loop or do I not loop? Right? Do I restart playback when the source becomes active? Do I there's all these kinds of things you could do. I can even, okay, it doesn't actually do GIFs like this, but you can mess around with your settings kind of here. The other thing that is really important to kind of handle with regards to OBS is these things called filters. And if you're into Photoshop, you already know what a filter is. It's exactly the same as it works in Photoshop. You just open this filters window. Oh, there's already a filter on here. I wonder what this filter does. Well, we can find out if I turn the filter off. Oh, this is actually Hooper.gif. This is what Hooper.gif actually looks like if you just open it on my computer. It is not, in fact, a transparent GIF. So how did I get it? How did I get from this into this cool like transparent hooper that can like hang out on top of my my box here all transparently. And oh gosh, I had forgotten that I had set this up like this. This is so much nicer actually. Okay, so I have this cool steezy oh yeah, and I want to talk about VFX also. Okay, so I have this cool hooper that I want to live on my thing. How do I fix this? I open her filters, and I'm going to add this thing called a chroma key. And a chroma key, let me just select the wrong color here real quick. I turn on the chroma key, nothing happens. Okay. But the chroma key is set to filter out everything of a certain color. So if I set this color to be this kind of gold color, then it notices everything and cuts it out. Okay. And there's feature, there's stuff you can like, you can set the specificity of the colors so that it like is more or less sensitive, which is more or less important when you're keying out stuff like a color that's in your actual like window. Yeah, Zoe, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, so green screen is a chroma key function. Exactly. Chroma key is the technical term for a green screen, but it doesn't have to be green, right? So let's get wild. Let's look at my webcam and look at the filters. Right now you can see, okay, so here's a color correction filter. I can turn that off and on. Oh, I'm actually not sharing my my screen anymore, am I? 1 second. Okay, there we go. So if I look at my webcam and I go to my filters on my webcam and I can turn color correction off and on, that's a filter. I have a filter on this source, okay? So you have scenes made of sources, and those sources are all things. And then you can, and then each thing will have its own set of filters on it if you want. And that filter can be any number of things. There's this many audio filters, there's this many video filters, but you can also add filters as plugins to OBS. Yeah, you can run the chroma key on the orange blocks on the back wall. Yeah, exactly, Cassandra. I run the chroma key on the orange blocks on the back wall. So you can see this is the color of the chroma key that's normally applied to my webcam that I'm using right now. It's not pointed at my DJ gear, it's pointed at my face. If I turn the chroma key on, that's this color orange with all this warm lighting, look what happens. It kind of all goes transparent. And if I get close to the web camera, I bet my face will get all weird. Okay, it's not that weird. But if I turn the sensitivity up on this, then it will start seeing everything that's like kind of orange. Right? So this is how you tune your filter so that it picks up and cuts out all of the orange blocks on the back wall, but it doesn't cut out your face, which is, believe it or not, very slightly orange. Right, and that's why the most popular colors for green for like keyed out layers. So let me actually take that filter back off. Dude, that's why like it's called a green screen, because like nobody wears like bright lime clothing. Nobody wears like the color of the screen, right? So yeah, I told you you could do this. Yeah, they don't wear it yet. Yeah, there's actually a really good video of a weatherman who accidentally wears like a lime bow tie or like a lime necktie, and then like he's got this weird like weather shirt kind of. So yeah, scenes are made of sources. Sources have filters. Slobs comes with 1 million filters. OBS comes with fewer, but you can add those filters on as OBS plugins. Make sense? Now you may have noticed that when we went back to my DJ scene, it looks a little different. There's some stuff that's missing. Okay. There's some stuff that's missing. Oh yeah, my key is actually slightly broken with the hooper now. Filters. Let me actually fix this. Okay, there we go. Close. Perfect. Now she's actually transparent again. I'm going to move her back down a little bit. Great. Okay. So the background isn't there. Where's the background? Right? Well, the background is actually another source that's not active right now. And this is where this is actually a perfect segue into live troubleshooting. Okay. So let me bring you back. Let me bring OBS back up here. No, let's, oh wait, that's Zoom. Ha 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 ha. Let me, how am I going to do this? We're going to actually window OBS. We're going to go back here. We're going to window OBS and we're going to bring it, oops, nope. We're still diving into OBS. We're not faking an error message yet. Okay. So we're going to bring this up here. I'm going to show you a program called Plane 9. Okay, this is a free program. It's super OP. That's overpowered for you non-dorks. Super overpowered for the price, which is 0. Okay. Plane 9 is basically a fancy screensaver. Okay, it runs all these things. I can pop one of these. Boom. Right? It just does this stuff. You all saw that. It actually took over my whole blah blah. Here's the thing. I can just run this thing. Okay, stuff happens, right? Plane 9. Okay, now that's kind of cool. You can set up these little things over here. Okay, you saw that one became highlighted. These little things over here are playlists of these things right here. Okay, so this playlist just plays this. This playlist up here plays, where is it? It's here somewhere. This, it just plays this one. Okay, so let's open this like this. And it pops up in this little window. It just hangs out and does this. This is running. Yeah, Cassandra, you got the punchline. Okay, so here's this guy right here. This might look familiar to those of you who were in my stream a couple of hours ago. Now I can take this, I can drop this down. Go away, get thee from me. Okay, and then let's go back to OBS. Now you're seeing in OBS, I only have 2 sources right now. I'm actually going to use this one later. I have 2 sources on right now. One is my webcam. Oh, geez. Okay, and the other is this display capture, which is showing you everything on my monitor. Right, so you're actually looking, this is a whole, I'm actually screen sharing one entire monitor here. That's why you can see my taskbar down here and like some other stuff. You're looking at a whole screen. And on that screen, there's an OBS window and there's this other Plane 9 window that I just opened. Okay, so let's go back to OBS. We're actually just gonna bring this in front of that. Okay, so you can't see it. Oh geez, okay, I need to know where to look. Okay, we're gonna bring this in front of that. So you can't see it. It's still running, but you can't see it. Okay, let's add it as a source to OBS. Psych, I've already done it. Okay, so here's this thing called colors BG. Okay, we're actually going to make it a background. So I'm going to resize it until it's the size of this whole screen. Okay, it slightly overlaps, but that's fine. It's a background, so it's not a big deal if I lose a little bit on the edges. I'm going to bring it in front of the display capture, I guess. Yeah, okay. So that means that if I activate colors BG and it's pointing to the right thing, colors BG, what is colors BG? Well, it's a video display capture, or it's a window capture, and the window that it's going to capture is not Zoom. I can set it to Zoom actually. We can let's all look at ourselves. Oh, actually that really messes everything up. Sorry. Zoom hates everybody, by the way. So if you try and plug, okay, we can look at a calculator. No. What do I want to look at? Let's look at, okay, so we can look at, like, this is like a window share, right? So you're looking at this Firefox window, but what we actually want to point it to is this Plane 9 window that we just summoned. We just opened it with Plane 9, right? So let's point that source to this window. We're going to hit OK. Right, so now whatever's in this red box, as soon as I hit activate, it's going to show up as a source. Ding. There it is. Yeah, but like I do want to. Exactly. Desert, we're going to get to what FPS you're at and drop frames and stuff in a second. Okay, we're at 8:09. Oh gosh, have I already gone 2 hours? No, I've gone 1 hour. Okay, I know what time it is. Great. Okay, we're through the book. Great. Okay, so now I have this cool background. I can take this, I can resize it to the size of my whole entire window, and boom, boom. I have this cool looking background live. Okay. Now, if I want to set up now there's a kink, right? And this is what gets us. This is what's going to segue us into our live troubleshooting, section. Okay, let's go back to plane 9. Let's take a look. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm actually going to take this. I'm going to shrink it down. Ooh, darn it! I grabbed the wrong one. You are supposed to be that big. Sometimes you can't really tell what you're grabbing. This is all part of the finesse of like OBS. Okay, so here is our one plane 9 thingy that we launched. Let's go back to plane 9 and make another thingy. Okay, let's open this thingy. Check, check, check. No? Okay, that's because this is still going to my DJ scene. So this you may recognize as the spectralizer in my DJ set. It's another thing. I've added it as a background in my DJ set. Okay. Actually, let me show you all a little nope, it's going to be where do you live? Oh yeah, it's going to be there. Okay, and it's going to be here. Yeah, okay, I need this to be quiet. I need this to be quiet. Okay, so if we look at a video of my DJ set on the stream, you can see over here that this guy actually, when I'm DJing, is doing this. And it's actually taking audio from my DJ mixer and feeding into the spectralizer, which is another really cool thing about plane 9. So if we look at this whole scene again, I'm actually going to maximize this. If we look at my whole DJ stream, let's take a look now that we actually know what to look for. Here's the overlay. The overlay is on top. There's the hooper. The hooper is another source. Oh, sorry, I've got a bunch of junk in the way. One sec. Where is OBS? Let us deactivate this guy. Oh, wait, you're not even looking at that right now, are you? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so here is this video montage is a source. It's a playlist of juggling videos that are on my hard drive. This hooper is on my hard drive. This is a scrolling text source. This is another one. This is my webcam, which you're looking at now. The webcam has a chroma key filter so that these orange panels on my wall are keyed out. And behind my camera layer is this plane 9 window as a source. Behind the webcam and this source that's behind the webcam, behind all of this stuff is this background source. This spectralizer back here is also running in plane 9. Okay, this all making sense? Yeah, so now you can, it all comes apart now. You can all see it, okay? This whole Velveteen DJ character is just a ping. It's just a transparent ping that I commissioned a friend to draw in like 2001 or something. Okay, now here is the segue into live troubleshooting. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Boop. Okay, now here's the problem. Let's bring the background back in. Okay, so I got this guy running in plane 9. It's that window from earlier. Okay, let's go back to plane 9. Here's plane 9. Let's make another cool thing happen. Oh, I want... oh, wait, no, I already did that. Okay, so we have these two things running in plane 9. Right? We got this guy, and we got this guy. Okay, and I can actually close this now that I've launched those. These will actually stay independently of the plane 9 configuration window. Okay, let me actually remove. Oh no, actually this is perfect. Okay, so I have this guy. This window here is this source in OBS. So you can see the window on my desktop. You can see how it's appearing as a source in OBS. Does that make sense? Now I have this other source over here that I'm like sizing and resizing, right? Now, how do I add it as a source Yeah, this is the beginning of the troubleshooting segment. Yes. So how do I add this as a source here? Well, I go add a window capture. Okay, I actually already have this configured, so I'm just going to add the existing window capture from the other scene. I've already set it up, so it's in my scenes to add. I'm going to add it. But here's what's going to happen. Oops, I actually did it perfectly right the way I was supposed to do it, and it didn't break. Okay. Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unbreak it. Okay, let's go back to my colors background. Okay, so this, let's say I never added this one, right? I did it backwards. Okay, let's try this again. We're going to rewind to 30 seconds ago. Okay, so I have this cool source set up in OBS. It's set up in OBS because it points to this window right here. So I got this window right here on my desktop. It's turning into this source in OBS. I got this window on my desktop that I want to become my background. So let's go add it in a source as a source to OBS. We're going to take this and we're going to pick the right window. Why did it work? That's so weird. Oh, wait, no, it is going to be like that. Dude, oh, they're already pointed right. Oh, that's funny. So typically what happens with OBS is the problem is, let me actually just reconfigure this. Okay. Live troubleshooting. We're doing it live. Okay. So let's say I have the background doodad and I have the effects doodad. Okay. Now here's the problem. Theoretically, it only works perfectly when I'm trying to break it, of course. It's just like juggling. Doing it bad is way harder than actually doing it good. Okay, so I'm going to go in. Oh, that's why, because I haven't restarted OBS. Okay, so I'll just tell you the whole story. Essentially, what happens is you'll notice that these two windows have the same title. This one's called Plane 9, blah, blah, blah. This one's called the exact same thing. So you can't necessarily tell them apart when you first open OBS. Yeah, Chibuku, keep going, break more things. So what you end up having to actually do is open one source and then set the source in OBS, and then open the other source and then set the other source in OBS. Yeah, so here, if I try to open the background source, it just goes to this, it just goes back to this window because it only sees one Plane 9 window. And now, if I go back to OBS and I'm like, oh no, or if I go back to Plane 9 and I'm like, oh, actually, Plane 9, what I want is this cool background thingy, right? I go back to OBS and I'm like, hey, yo, point to the background. No, become the background. No, but you're called the background. Why aren't you the background, right? So now I have two window sources that will only point to this window. So what I have to do is I actually have to go here and manually reselect it. And then, yeah, because this one is the last one that I opened, it's going to be all messed up. So I actually have to close this. I'm going to go back to Plane 9. I'm going to reopen the background. Whoops. Going to bring this back in here. And then theoretically, in a perfect world, okay, it's still broken. That's funny. This is the opposite to the way it always works. So with that said, let's get rid of all these things. And let us talk about the real deal. I'm going to bring Zoom chat back in here so I can actually see questions and stuff. Okay, let's see what happens when it breaks. Can't break when you want and breaks when you need it. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, here's the bad news. You're going to have to troubleshoot live. Sorry, not sorry. It's just a fact of life. As a DJ, this was old hat to me because like you're used to like, you know, a record jumps and then everybody in the club like turns and yells at you at the same time. It's just like that. And it's like that, except you can't actually hear people yelling at you to fix the stream when you're streaming on Twitch. So that's good. It's kind of nice. Though sometimes your friends will not tell you when things are wrong in your stream, and that's not so nice. Yeah, it is a live show. It is a live show. If it happens during the show, it's part of the show. So what do you do? We're going to talk about a lot of different things that go wrong. Okay. Number one thing is drop frames. Okay. We talked about frames per second earlier. Yeah, can't be heckled if you can't hear the hecklers. Okay. So this is basically a simulation of like film, right? Or like footage. This is what 60 frames per second looks like. This is what 24 frames per second looks like. If you don't have a strong enough computer, or you don't have a strong enough internet connection, it's going to start dropping frames. It's going to start being like, you know what? I can't process 60 frames per second. So we're going to actually change it into this. We're going to take out frames so that we can handle it. Okay. Your computer's just going to do this by yourself or by itself. Okay. To accommodate for the fact that you don't have enough juice. Okay. So how do we deal with this? Is it like a compression factor? Kinda. It's that's a little bit apples to oranges, but I kind of get what you're getting at here. There's a few hacks here. Basically, everybody should be running Open Hardware Monitor or Resource Manager while you're trying to stream. That's going to show you what your CPU consumption is. I'm actually I'll bring up a little Resource Monitor. It actually comes stock with Windows. It looks like this, and you can see it's going to show you what's going on. Okay, this stuff is not important. What is important is this stuff here. Okay, I know you can't see like super, but this gives you a, yeah, you can't zoom it either, but that's why I actually run a different one usually. This is my CPU, percent of 100. This is my hard drive. This is my network consumption, and this is my memory consumption. Okay, Resource Monitor is pretty lightweight. So yeah, good question, Duncan, but this doesn't necessarily hurt you any more than the stuff that's actually going to kill you, which is your web browser. Okay. Every time you're watching a show and it looks like it's going to go fine, and then one of the acts starts, and then like 30 seconds in, the act stops. Okay. We've all been in that show. One's in the chat if you've been to that show. Okay. Here's what happened. What happened was the stream tech had everything going great. And then 30 seconds into the act, they're like, this is going fine. I'm going to go check Facebook. And they open Firefox, or they open Chrome, or they open Safari. And then all of a sudden, their computer is thinking about something else and not the show. Okay. This is fine if you're running like a freaking Godzilla machine like I am. Okay. But if you didn't hire the streamer and you're trying to DIY on a stock MacBook, got bad news for y'all. Stock MacBook graphics processors are not great. They're very stable machines. I loved my MacBooks for years and years. I ran them for DJ software because I could not have it crash under any circumstance. But when it came time to run some CPU intensive stuff, some heavy video games and all that, it just didn't do the job. Yeah, you'll have to pay your kingdom for a freaking Godzilla machine right now. Actually, hit me up after the workshop and we can talk about computer parts and stuff. Short version, just buy a pre-built right now. Well, actually, I don't know about that either. We'll talk about it later. Here are the solutions, though, that are basically not buy a better computer. Okay. Check a Stream Manager. Okay, so you want to run Open Hardware Monitor. This will show you what is taking up all of your stuff. You run Resource Manager. You run Open Hardware Monitor. You open a web browser. It's going to be like, hey, your computer's thinking about more stuff now. And the closer you get to 100%, the closer your computer is going to be to shutting down your show. Okay. Big killers, background tasks, bunch of bloatware. Go into your system tray and close everything, right? Everything you possibly can. Don't run a web browser if you can avoid it. Don't run something like Stream Manager on your computer. Run it on your phone, right? If you can leave your browser closed while you're streaming, that's like number one thing you can do to like make a decent computer like behave like it's good, like it's really good, right? And surprisingly, running a browser on your computer is like, yeah, especially Chrome. I mean, all these web browsers nowadays are really heavy. Okay, it used to be the opposite. Standard Stream Manager is your back end of Twitch. Yeah, let me show you actually. So like, I'll bring this guy back here, and I'll just go straight there. So this is a Stream Manager for Twitch. It's like a little control panel. It shows you, Buku, you're in there like throwing stuff at chat. Yeah, hi Buku. Okay, so yeah, little known Twitch gossip. You can actually go to the chat of a channel that's offline and hang out there if you want. The dance commands are not going to work right now because we're not looking at my stream. Actually, maybe they will. Let's see. Oh wait, I'm over here. No, okay, because we're not actually looking at my DJ scene. Oh, but if I bring that browser source in, there's my dancing birds. Little inside joke for all of you all. This browser source is actually operated by chat. So if and this is just like CappaGen earlier, it's like a little transparent overlay that lives somewhere else on the internet that can read my chat and see if anything is going on. So if anybody says the word science in my chat, this appears over my webcam usually, but right now it's just like a little source right like this. Okay, so we're actually going to turn trigger fire off so I don't get trolled by the entire Zoom room. And yeah, so here's Stream Manager. It's just a website. It's the back end of your channel. You can raid from here. There's like a stream info buttons. It shows you your chat. It shows you like stuff, what happened in your Twitch channel. There's a parallel to this actually in YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you click go live, it gives you something suspiciously like Twitch Stream Manager. And this is what you get. Duplicate stream key. Yeah, whatever. We're not going to look at my stream key. Sorry, y'all. And this is kind of like your stream manager for YouTube, right? Kind of same thing, but different. Here's your chat. Here's your stream monitor. Here's a few features. Here's like a graph that shows you how many frames you're dropping, blah, 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 how many people are chatting, all this kind of stuff, right? So like these back-end tools are really cool and useful, but they're heavy because they run on a web browser. So if your computer is like trying to show stuff to the internet and it can't think about it and it's dropping frames, don't run this on your computer if you can. Run it on your phone or something instead, right? Forewarning, your audience will know you're dropping frames before you will. Okay, so if you are in OBS and you think it looks like this, it might actually look, oh geez, go away, trigger fire. There. If you think it looks like this, your audience might be seeing this. Okay. So ways to deal with that. Yeah, run Open Hardware Monitor, run Stream Manager on your phone, not your browser. First things first, check your damn internet. Okay. All the services tell you 5 megabits is good enough. That is a lie. It is a lie. Do not listen to them. Do not believe that. That is how you get a show to crash in the middle of your show, is by listening to what the streaming services who want you to get on the service and believe that you can just do it. They want you to get on there and be like, oh yeah, 5 megabits, that should be good enough, right? But it's not. Okay, 10 minimum. Okay, megabit is a quantity that just means megabytes per second. So if you see Mbps, that's the same thing as a megabit. Gigabit is 1000 or 1024 megabits, right? Gigabit is basically 1000 megabits. So that means a gigabit is basically 1000 megabytes per second. If somebody says gigabit, they usually mean gigabit rated download speed. Okay. And one important thing to remember is that the advertised speed is never what you actually get down the pipe. Okay. Yeah, Buku, I was wondering who's selling you 500 up and how you're even using all that. The way to find out whether your internet is good is with a website called speedtest.net. Okay. Let's do it. I'm just gonna flex a little bit here. I'll show you how it works. This is like the internet's tool. Everybody and their mom does this. You literally just go to the website and hit go. And it tests your speed. Your mileage may vary, but yeah, this is where I'm going to give a little flex and put proof in the pudding that this is why everybody hires me to run their events and make sure they're good. It's getting really confused because I'm actually also streaming while I'm doing this. So it's like, what the hell? Why are you measuring your speed while you're doing heavy stuff? Thanks for bonus nerd points to Jabuku in chat. Okay, so that's my download speed. This is my upload speed. Note, there's about a 10x difference. No, yeah, this actually is really good. Okay, so I got 40. I got plenty of headroom. I could multi-stream out to a bunch of different, sites if I wanted to, right? That's why I have headroom. That's because, here's the thing. You might be like, okay, cool. So Richard Hartnell said I could do a stream with 10 megabit upload. Now here's the trick. I'm also running a Zoom stream right now. Okay, so how much is the Zoom taking up of my bandwidth? How much is Twitch taking up of my bandwidth? And if I'm going to show a video on my channel, if I'm going to be like, hey, yo, look at this cool YouTube video, I might be using a bunch of bandwidth just to just to download the video while I'm also trying to upload video. Okay, so that's what this last thing here means. Don't get out of here, cursor. No, get out. Okay, yeah, don't stream anything from the internet that you can download first. Okay, so if you if you have like a juggling video that you want to show, like all those videos in my little sidebar on my DJ channel, like all the skills videos and stuff, those absolutely do not live on the internet. I mean, they do, that's where I got them, but like they live on my computer because my computer has to reach nowhere to get them. That means I lose zero bandwidth getting those videos out to the internet, except for what it takes to like put them into OBS and send them out. Okay. Yeah, like when you tried to stream a movie in Discord while Marvin was streaming from a service. Yeah, it's like that. So don't download a source from don't stream anything that you can download first, right? Unless, again, you're using like monster internet. Like I could probably just like open a YouTube window and stream something to you right now because I'm using like professional grade gear that I've been using to throw events all year. But like your mileage will vary, I promise. Make sense? Any more questions about frame rate, drop frames, and stuff like that? Oh, let me fix this. There. Does hardwiring in via Ethernet give me a higher upload speed than Wi-Fi? That is a great question, Cassandra Tannenbaum. Most likely is the answer, but actually the answer is no. Surprise. If I unplug, I'm actually not going to unplug my Ethernet cable right now because it's getting used to stream out to you right now. But I actually get the same upload speed on Wi-Fi that I do hardwired. Why? Because the limiting factor is the internet service. Depends on your router. Also depends on your Wi-Fi card. Yes. No, if your internet sucks, it will not solve your bad upload speed. And you can test this by running speed test while you're wired and then unplugging the wire and running speed test on your Wi-Fi. And I bet that your upload speed will not change. Your download speed will definitely change. It will definitely change. You can download way better over a hard connection than you can over Wi-Fi. But we're not trying to download. We're trying to upload, right? There's also a way to test between your router and you. Yeah. Okay. Mas? Okay, great. Let's press on. Let's get into some more nitty-gritty stuff. Double audio. Good old robot voice. Where's the robot voice come from? The robot voice comes from having two audio sources enabled. Okay. I actually can't do this in Zoom. I was going to try and break it live so I could show you cool stuff, but I can't because I can't reroute audio from OBS to Zoom. But you know what I'm talking about. And the way to find it is right here. You can actually see here, I've got one mic, and here I've got another mic, and they're both activated, and it's going to make this really weird double voice sound. It can happen to videos you're trying to put into your stream. Like you might be trying to stream a video, and then like all of a sudden you can kind of hear the video twice, and it's just this weird kind of like audio problem. And here is, here's what you do. First, you check your audio mixer. This is your audio mixer right here. All right. It's going to show you the output of like what all of your, it's going to show you all your outputs, right? And they're all going to be live. And if you can't check your audio, and if you can, and you're going to see two, if you see two sources when you're talking, or you see like two outputs going on, just turn one off. You know, If that doesn't work, you got to check all your audio mixers. Okay. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we're using like, sometimes you're like remember the schematic, right? Maybe it's like, oh, I'm plugging my microphone into a sound card and I'm plugging the sound card into the computer. How much will other devices running in your home, like roomies using Wi-Fi, affect things? Roomies using Wi-Fi will affect things. So again, if you're like squeaking with like 10 megabit internet upload, and like your roommate starts streaming, or like your roommate voice calls grandma or something, like you could have a hard time. Yeah, having two audio devices in OBS, you can have the same device in two spots. Absolutely. You can accidentally set up a mic twice, right? You can also accidentally set up two mics in like a sound card or something. I didn't talk about sound cards actually, and I should have. Let me, I didn't unplug everything and plug it back in. So it's actually just like living in a rat's nest of cables right now. But I have a box. Oh, actually, I can unplug this guy and just show it to you because I'm not listening to anything right now. One sec. Okay, for a moment. Oh, y'all can still hear y'all can still hear me in Zoom, right? Not okay, great. So this is a sound card. It's a very simple, small sound card. This USB dongle is USB-C. You can see it like that, right? And it has inputs. Let me actually try and light this a little better. You can see there's one input there. There's actually three inputs there. Okay, now you can kind of see, right? One is an input and one is an output. That's not enough for me. So I actually got one of these, which is just a splitter. This goes into the headphone jack. My headphones go into this headphone jack. So the whole thing goes into a port that I've cleverly hidden from myself. There, and then the whole thing goes into the hardest to reach port in my computer. Oh, I just lost my camera. 1 second. You can still hear me though, right? Okay. Oh, it's because I nudged out my webcam. 1 sec. Okay, so crash course in live troubleshooting. Deactivate and activate. Hi. Ooh, my settings are all wackadoo. So one thing about OBS is that when you restart a video source, chances are it gets all weird and you get to go back and reconfigure it. Okay. Okay. And yeah, just a little bit of, no. Oh, it's because I moved my light. Am I still all, okay, yeah, I look fine. It's good enough. Okay, great. I'm no longer so orange. Is it because my filter's reactivated? Nope. Oh, it's because I added color correction. Okay. This is not important. What is important is that I lost my webcam and I was able to reactivate it by deactivating the scene and reactivating it in OBS, because that's going to happen. You're going to lose your camera. We'll talk about general kind of stuff. Okay, so OBS, you'll want to check if you have double audio. You're also going to want to double check your monitoring and your scenes. I highly, highly recommend like a separate sound card for anybody who's going to be doing anything serious, especially involving audio. Okay. And the reason for that is because Apple are assholes and decided to, and like everybody are assholes now, and decided to like take all of the audio inputs off their computers. So you can like actually buy a laptop now that doesn't even have a stereo jack on it, which is like, I think should be a crime. So you basically like often have, like I tell people all the time, like during tech rehearsals and whatever, like, hey, yo, no, you actually got to go buy a little USB thingy to like put a headphone jack onto your computer so that you can like take your mic and put it in your computer, right? So like there's a lot of like little $10 and $15 expenditures in here that like will make your life massively better and different. Everybody will tell you to buy the Scarlett Focusrite. It's like a real industry standard. I think it's fine. Make sure you get one if you can with 4 inputs, not with 2 inputs. Because here's what happens every time somebody goes and gets the 2 input sound card. They plug everything in and they're like, cool, it works. Great. Now where do I plug in my guitar? And then they have to go buy another sound card already. So just get the 4 input one. It will save you down the road. Admitting Paul. Great. Okay, and then yeah, in your sound cards, that's where like all of this stuff is going to happen and be confusing. And that's a little bit beyond the scope of this workshop. And yeah, just bring me on for a consult once you're like trying to hook up a 4-channel sound card. Long story short, a sound card is just a USB device for your computer that takes audio inputs and outputs. Okay. Oh yeah, and then if you've double checked your monitoring, you've double checked all your scenes, you're just going to have to reroute your audio manually once you're off stream. Okay, clipping. Let's talk about clipping. I actually also can't break this live. I forgot that I couldn't send my OBS audio out to Zoom. So it's going to be a little goofy. But clipping is basically when your source input is too high. I wonder if I can... Darn. I cannot. That's a little... Okay, well, let's see. Problem is, so if you ever hear like... I'm trying to like think of a good example. I was going to make an example of clipping live, but basically you can see 2 sound forms here. This is literally me saying check, 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 microphone check in or something. And am I watching my level in Audacity while I am on an event? No, Duncan, because OBS has its own audio meters, right? Actually, okay, so let's actually go into OBS. I can show this to you live. We're going to bring this over here. Okay, now you're looking at my OBS, right? I actually have an audio source set up in here, and if I activate it, it's actually just my microphone. Okay, so now you can see my audio meter. You can't hear it because you're not hearing audio from OBS, but OBS is listening to my mic. And you can see it right there in the audio meter, right? Is everybody seeing what I'm seeing, what I'm showing you right here? Check. It's the green bar. Yeah, it moves whenever I talk. Now, if I'm actually using a mic that's like conspicuously quiet, but if I really try and if I try and really turn my wow, that must have sounded really weird to all of you. Sorry, I forgot that that was still active. Okay, so if I turn my microphone gain up really, really high. Oh wait, maybe there's just no good way to do this live. What you might notice if your microphone is turned up too high is it'll actually be all the way into the red up here, and you'll experience what's called clipping. And clipping means that the sound is literally being clipped. And like this and this are exactly the same sound sample. This is me saying, you can see this like giant chunk of noise is that sound. This sound is that sound. This sound is that sound. But I've just turned the audio up so high that it's so loud, right? And what happens is it gets clipped. You can't hear the edges of the sound, right? And it sounds like shit. I can't make it a good example right now, but it really sounds like garbage. Okay, this is also called having a hot mic sometimes. Though the word hot also sometimes means peaking, or it also sometimes means feedback. Twitch chat source is driving you nuts. Oh yeah, you'll get there, Desert. Don't worry about it. It also means you'll also hear clipping referred to as being in the red, right? And if you see a mixing board, like you see like the volume meter, it goes into the red. The red means you're losing part of the sound. So you want to turn the volume back down on that sound, and then find out if you want it to be louder, what else you can turn up. Okay. So in this case, like I have my microphone volume turned up on my sound card. I have it turned up everywhere, and then in Zoom, then in OBS, it's looking kind of fine. If it were a little too hot, if I were kind of peaking right here, I could just turn it back down a little bit like this until it's like more reasonable. Okay. Okay, let's talk about feedback. This is the new version of feedback. You have a microphone, goes into a mixer, that sound is amplified, then it goes out to a speaker. You, the MC, walk in front of the speaker holding the microphone, and then everybody hates you, right? Because it makes that terrible sound. Here is our version of feedback. Okay. You have your Zoom audio because you're interviewing somebody in Zoom. right? You have your audio input here, and this is a source, right? This is a program. Can I zoom in? Let's see. Ooh, can I? What's this? Exit full screen? No. Nay, I've just made it too small. It's not terribly important. You get the. I can just describe what all of these things are. This is Zoom audio. That's what it says. This is your sound from Zoom because you're interviewing somebody in Zoom, right? If you saw MC Bree Crabtree in the last show that I produced, she was just Zoom. She was just coming in on Zoom. I sent Zoom to OBS via a source. I told OBS there's a source. It is Zoom's audio. But because Zoom's audio is weird, I just told OBS, you know what? Just capture all of the incoming sound to my computer. Just if my computer plays a sound, just send it out to OBS. You could just do that, right? And then that goes out to the stream and your audience. And it also goes to your headphones because you're monitoring the sound. Well, you have Zoom audio, it goes to your system, and your system is outputting everything that your system is sending to the stream everything that it puts out, but then you tell it to put something out. So then that thing goes out, then it goes back in to your audio source, which is everything that goes out. So that then goes out to your stream and your audience and to your headphones. And then because it's going out, it goes out of your headphones and back in, and then it goes out again, and then that gets pretty complicated really quick. Okay, that's what you don't want. So what do you do instead? What's the hack? Instead of having your audio source be all of your output, you just have your audio source being the one input from Zoom, right? And there's a little hack that I can show you. I'm actually running a little short on time here, so I'm not gonna show you all the nitty-gritty details of this hack, but essentially you can tell Zoom to go to a different output of your sound card and then send that output out to your audience and then monitor it safely until somebody in your Zoom room decides to not wear headphones, and then it just goes and then creates your own feedback loop. So we're going to close here with some general principles for troubleshooting a stream live. 1, turn it off and turn it back on again. Straight up, just deactivate the source and reactivate it. That's what happened to the camera earlier. I nudged my USB cable, my camera choked and died. I froze. I unplugged my I jiggled the thingy, turned the webcam back on. I just deactivated the source in OBS and reactivated it. Boom, we're live again. If that doesn't work, try pointing the source to a different source and then point it back to where it's supposed to go. My attempts to break plane 9 didn't work, but that's how you fix plane 9 if it breaks in the way that it breaks. Like if hooper.gif freezes, just point to birds.gif and then point back to hooper.gif, see if it works. Good old unplugging it and plugging it back in is step 3. So if you deactivated your camera and reactivated it and it didn't turn back on, try unplugging it and plugging it back in, and then try steps 1 and 2. If all that doesn't work, then you got a bigger problem, and you got to double check the problem in your schematic. Go back and be like, okay, what's this actually plug into? What's this thing plug into? What's that thing plug into? What's that thing plug into? And then like, where's it all going out? Because if it's, you might think it's your mic, but it's actually your sound card. You might think it's your sound card, but it's actually your whatever. Number 5 is to restart your software. And that sounds terrifying, but actually you can close and reopen OBS while you're streaming, and it will be fine. It will cause a hiccup in your stream, but you'll just pop back into existence usually. And OBS sometimes is finicky like that. Sometimes OBS can't see anything that came to exist while it's running, right? So if you open OBS, you plug in a new web camera, and then you're like, OBS, look for my new web camera. It's like, what? And then if you close OBS and reopen it, it's like, oh, this web camera, right? And then lastly, good old restarting your computer. And that's the long and the short. I was supposed to have a closing screen here that was actually no, I'm just gonna do it. Pick stupid memes. Yeah, there we go. If you want to be cool on the internet and find out why this is funny and learn how to build your own scene, and kind of what to do once it all works. Okay, I plugged it in and it all works. Now what do I do? This class next week is about that with this guy, Grandmaster Ong, who has been running a cool juggling channel on Twitch in the true Twitch style. Yeah, and I think that is the long and the short. No, it's just the long. You just got the long version. It's the whole long version. That is it. So now to close, I will bring OBS back up here. You can have a cool little paradox show, and then I will switch to my scene. Oh, and how did I get all of this to show up in Zoom, you may ask? I am running an OBS plugin called Virtual Cam that allows me to tell Zoom to use OBS as a webcam. Da, da, da. Cool stuff. So now I will just reactivate my webcam only source. Boom. And I reappear to you as myself. And that's the show. Ta-da! Last questions. Actually, I can, theoretically, I can actually hear you in chat now. Let me bring you back to my, somebody say something in the Zoom room.
Something in the Zoom room.
Hey, there we go. Okay, now we're back to normal Zoom life and I can just hear you. Though I can also still pop back into OBS mode and show examples if anybody has a question where that will help.
I liked it better in OBS land. What the hell is this Zoom bullshit?
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, honestly, Zoom audio is the worst. Zoom audio routing is like a special extra level of hell for whoever produces like Zoom's audio interface, because the problem with Zoom is that it takes over your entire system audio. Okay, so you know, you ever done that thing where you're like, oh, Zoom is I want to be in the Zoom room, but I want to listen to this Twitch DJ over here. I'll just turn the audio down using the Zoom settings, and then Zoom is like, cool, you want to turn down the audio, and it just turns down all your computer audio. Like that also should be a crime. At any rate, the way to do that, I wonder if I can actually cheat here. Okay, now I can actually share. Now I can actually just share this screen. Okay, I can close that. I can share that. Oh, but then it messes up Zoom. Okay. Okay, but you're actually all looking at this screen now. So you can see all of my my number of audio inputs. This isn't even all my sound. This is like not even my final form with like inputs and outputs. Can you see my, oh, you can't see this menu that I'm dicking around in, can you? Oh, damn it. Frickin' Zoom. Okay. Well, anyway, how do I, oh, there's gotta be a hack for this. There is a hack for this. Okay, check this out. This is why, okay, we're gonna stop sharing. We're gonna close OBS for a minute. No, we're not gonna close OBS because that's my webcam. But we are going to, my phone died. Lol, of course it did. I almost had the coolest, smartest hack to fix this with. I'm gonna have to like unceremoniously futz with a bunch of wires for a second. Okay, any other questions besides Zoom, about Zoom audio routing for a minute while I get this example fixed up?
Yeah, I got one for you. And is this more, or let me know if this is more next week's stream, but what would you say is a preferential kit or like the essential pieces for somebody to do Zoom busking? Is that next week?
No, that's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Yeah, if you're gonna like busk on Twitch or whatever, YouTube Live or something. I mean, okay, so if you're like I have a bunch of money liquid right now and I want to just buy the kit, like a gaming computer, you want something with like good specs in the CPU and probably in the GPU also. If these are arcane terms to anybody in chat, don't worry about it. I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about parts, actually, you can just get into my Discord server and ask some, like, we can just talk about parts. I am using like I started with like the sweetest deal of like a gaming laptop that I got 3 years ago on a song. They're just using like insider smarts, and like I just got a really screaming deal on like a really well-spec'd computer that was like really underpriced at the time. So that actually worked as a streaming laptop. Most of the time when I tell people I was streaming like everything off a laptop, they would be like, "You're a dumbass." But also, how does this work? Like, how do you have all this working? The answer was I wasn't running a web browser, and there were a lot of like kind of fine tunings and things. I guess the short answer of like what kit to buy or like what kit to use, like get a decent computer, upgrade your internet, and just start. The answer is just start. Like you watch every YouTube tutorial on OBS and live streaming in the universe. The one common number one piece of advice for all the beginner streaming tutorials is like just start. Don't wait until you get the lighting rig. Don't wait for the LED light bars. Don't wait for your fancy new camera. Like just hit start streaming on a phone if you have to. And then everything else is just like a long, slow, really enlightening and fun and frustrating and fun process of like dialing in 100 bazillion settings, like upgrading your internet, upgrading your graphics card, building out your Stream Elements overlay, setting up all your emotes on Twitch, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you.
So I've got a question immediately applicable to what you were just talking about of Zoom taking over all your audio, which I think is really good for FlowShop, because frequently with FlowShop, after the workshop, we will do a jam. And there's always, does Arlene share her audio or do we plug into a Twitch channel? And audio quality becomes a serious issue in my experience with like, if Arlene is sharing her audio and none of us can chat, or if we bring in a Twitch channel that we open as separately in the background, then the quality goes way down, but we can talk to each other. So what would I'm surprised you and Arlene haven't already maybe discussed this, but what would your recommendation there be?
My take on this is a little hot, and I'm actually not sure it's the right answer. But right now I think the one true answer is I even don't like it every time I say it, but like if you're not running a music stream, no music. And then the user can open their own music in another tab. Right? Now, I think that does make for a little bit less of like a good scene. Like if somebody just rolls in and it's just like the sound of like clubs hitting your palms or whatever, like I am very comforted by the sound of just like the ambient sound of like Matan juggling by himself in a room, because like that's like a deep psychological like hook in my brain now of like living with the sound of juggling constantly for 10 years, right? But like, yeah, most people it's like, ooh, awkward silence, like, oh, I can't hear anything. But like if I'm watching Matan, I usually have a DJ open on another window and I just have it up loud enough that like I can hear Matan's voice, but I can't hear Matan's music. And I can hear like Four Colors Axe music or somebody, right?
ASMR.
Yeah, and I think like in the case of like something like like a Zoom jam, I would, but like it's also kind of awkward. So like I think there's kind of no perfect solution, right? Maybe it's like on a different platform or something, or it's hard to say. It's a really open question right now. Okay, so I got DroidCam running. Let me actually pop my camera over to DroidCam. Nope. Okay, one sec. We're gonna try this again. Oh, that's why. And then start video. No, DroidCam 2 and then start video. There we go. Okay, so now you can all see from my phone. Let's go to Zoom. Oh, the focus is all disastrous. Come on, show me. Will you just focus? There we go.
Yeah, what Shabuku said.
Okay, so now we have more Paradox show. Hooray, huzzah. Where's my actual cursor though? I'm like, which cursor do I look at? Oh God. Let's open my audio sources here. That is what I was talking about earlier. Okay, this is my possible number of audio sources. These are all inputs. These are all outputs. Okay. Yeah, enjoy, bask, and marvel. So this is 2 sound cards right now. This is the sound card that I showed you physically earlier. This is also that sound card right there, the black box, right? That's what the microphone is plugged into, and that's what my DJ software is plugged into. You can actually see the little audio meter on top for my mic channel. right? So that's a sound card. So the sneaky way to make Zoom not be a piece of shit while you're trying to stream is you take the speaker. Right now it's going to speakers, Sound Blaster G3. This is what my headphones are plugged into right now. That's the thing that I showed you that I literally just plugged my headphones back into. So if y'all make sound, I can hear this. If I select a different speaker in Zoom, for Zoom, I will not be able to hear you. But if I set it to an output that I'm not using, like this guy, and then I make this guy an audio input in OBS, and then I tell OBS to monitor that source and put it out my headphones, that is exactly the same as being able to hear Zoom, but I can also turn Zoom audio on and off relative to my stream. Make sense? More or less? It doesn't have to make perfect sense now. But for the one person or two people in chat who are like fighting with that issue, I bet that made a lot of sense. If it doesn't make sense now and you want it to make sense later and you can't remember, just hit me up. Mas, more questions? I was not looking at chat because I was looking at my phone. And I can also hear you, so you don't have to type them in chat. Okay, maybe our brains are full.
I have a question.
Yeah, fire away.
My question is this. I'm really tired and I'm going to sleep. It's like almost midnight on the East Coast and I stayed up because this was valuable. I'm grateful I did it. However, this is the question. I promise I'm getting to it. I can't think of any questions right now. But when I have questions later, what is the best way that you want to suggest for people to contact you? Also, can we buy your stickers?
Why, yes, you actually can buy stickers. And you know what? I'm actually sitting close enough to a webcam right now that I can even show you how freaking sweet they look. Check it out. They're so shiny. Yeah, so you can buy these at djvelveteen.com. You can tell that's who I am because it says that on the sticker. These are this size, banana for scale. They're 4x3, I think, at their biggest. Yeah, I think they look great. I think they're still on sale on my website for $4, which is actually a discount over what a lot of DJs are selling way less interesting stickers for on the internet. Yeah, djvelveteen.com. If you want to reach like me as like in like my technical capacity, you can hit me up at richardhartnell.com. There's a contact form on the website, or if you want like the real, if you want the real access, I will just generate an invite link to. Ooh, everybody's talking on my Discord server. Edit invite link. We want it to expire never. You can use it 1,000,000 times. I'm going to copy it and then I'm going to stick it directly into Zoom Le Chat. You can go in here and that's like a chat server where I hang out, talk about video games and streaming tech and like all that kind of stuff. It'll give you automatic alerts when I DJ, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you haven't seen my set, please come. It's a lot of fun. My website appears to be down, maybe. Which one? Personal or
DJ Velveteen? I don't know. Maybe it's on my end, but it's not.
Let me take a look here. Let's see. Where's the link? Yeah, DJ Velveteen. It's .com. I'm gonna copy it. I am actually no longer in there, so I can just go straight over here. Oop, nope. I'm actually gonna. Okay, there we go. Ding, dong. Oh, weird. Interesting. I wonder if... Oh, I know why. Ha, 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 ha. That is ironic. Okay, I think actually I might have... Okay, I do have to fix that. There's a... I have some DNS woes at the moment, and I need to fix them. Is that the situation? Actions. Can I... No. Yes. That's the deal. Okay. And then I can just bing. Yeah, do it. Don't forget to set your, oops. Yeah, don't forget to set your hosting to automatically renew, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna do that slower, but oops. Any other questions while I am futzing with this with my web host?
I guess I have a little one. I'm trying to do like a widget for the using Stream Elements, and I'm posting it into it as a source, but for some reason it's not showing up on OBS. And I'm not sure if it's like
what kind of widget?
For the emote wall.
For the emote wall. Okay, and it's not showing up as a source in OBS?
Yeah, I'm like doing it, setting up a source, copying the browser link, and then like testing it in the stream manager on Twitch to add emotes to my stream, and then it is not showing up in OBS then.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I would monitor that in Stream Manager and not in OBS. That might be part of the situation. The emote walls and like Capagen and stuff like that, sometimes it misbehaves for me. I have to like kind of that's like a place where you kind of have to do a bunch of finagling and, you know, kind of try and take it apart, put it back together a few different ways and see if it works.
Cool. Sounds
yeah, thanks
good.
for coming
Thank
through,
you.
Biku.
Can we get a quick cap of what next week's class is going to cover?
Is Marvin in the chat?
Marvin is no longer here.
Okay, I think Marvin is going to talk about like culture and kind of like what to do once it all works, right? So you've got it all set up, you got your room, you got your lights and stuff, kind of like how to get along in especially the ecosystem of Twitch right now. Because yeah, there's a lot of manipulators who are getting onto Twitch right now. Like DJs all jumped on Twitch in the pandemic, and DJ Twitch is now like a major thing. What is going on here? This is all goofballs. Please wait. I don't want to wait. I just want to renew my hosting. Ding. There we go. Okay, great. And great. Okay. Yeah, it's going to talk about yeah, sort of the ecosystem of Twitch, like how to get around, how to make friends with other jugglers. There's a lot of jugglers on Twitch right now, and Circus Twitch is really kind of becoming a thing. I mean, yeah, it's a really great place to busk if you can get your people in there. It's not like busking in the sense that there's like not a great way to like kind of stick yourself into everybody else's context, but it is cool in the sense that there's a feature that allows you to just dump all of your users from your channel into the next channel. So it allows for a lot of people to like bring other people to you and then like to cultivate kind of an ongoing thing where like you have your show, people come into your show, and then on the regular you've kind of like you're generating slowly like a larger and larger base of folks, and then it's part of the culture on Twitch to just throw money, just like a busking festival. So Marvin's going to talk a lot about like that kind of like culture and like how it exists on Twitch in general, and also how it exists for circus people on Twitch in particular.
Dope. Is there a chance that we could, part of me wants to talk more about peripheral and hardware, because I know you're very much audio based, but I think that a lot of us are visual medium, and therefore like what cameras and microphones should I use to create my juggling show through Twitch?
That's for YouTube tutorials.
Okay, cool. Because I guess like, you know, the first question that comes to mind is like lav mic or head mic preference, right? But then also like, can I get away with one camera? Should I like try for two? Is 3 gonna make a better show? Like, and is that ultimately back to the question of like slowly dialing your preference up to a point where you've like achieved full power?
Yeah, I would say start with 1 for sure, like hands down, because it's like it's enough of a headache to just get 1 camera live in OBS. You know, if with regards to like 2 versus 3 cameras, or like what do I want my cameras to do, or what have you, it's a tricky one. I would say at that point, like I would just go, you know, around to different. I would just go around to different shows and be like, okay, what's good? What do I like? You know, do I want to emulate the cool dog cam on like on the channel with the dog cam? Like, do I want a feet cam? Do I want like a top-down view as much as I want a front view? Like, do I want these 3? Do I want a scene where I can see all 3 cameras at once? Like, that's like a stylistic choice. And yeah, what I would do is, I mean, yeah, with regards to like gear, I would just watch a million, or at least like one or two kind of like, what camera do I buy for Twitch, like YouTube tutorials or something. With regards to like, yeah, do I do 1 versus 2 or 2 versus 3 or whatever? I would just watch a ton of streams and see what you like, and then emulate that, and then develop your own style.
Thank you.
Mas, any other questions? Cool.
I guess
Maybe we
one
did
more.
it. Yeah, fire away.
If you are setting your for your overlay in Streamlabs, it does position, size, and style. Do you set that to 1920 by 1080, or do you do it at a smaller rate and then resize it within OBS?
Oh, that's a great details question. I get mine to come down at the biggest resolution I'm going to stream at.
Okay, so most of the time you'd be streaming at 1920 by 1080, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
And if I can pull down my overlay, if I have like the bandwidth to pull down an overlay that size, I definitely want it to come down at high resolution instead of like, because if I bring it down at a lower resolution and then I stretch it to fill my whole screen, it's going to look grainy.
Totally. Okay, cool.
And there's like, I have a really sweet, awesome, like animated overlay that came as a preset from Stream Elements, but like one of the frames is like, I have to resize it to be so big that it just looks super pixelated and just looks like poo. So like the whole point of having like a cool animated overlay is lost.
Damn you, pixelation.
Man, I hope my DJ website comes back on. I forgot that I hadn't set that to auto renew. Lol. Oh well, should be up by tomorrow morning. Then we can all buy sticks.
I have a question, Richard.
Yeah.
How do you improve audio quality within OBS? Like, I just can't find the setting.
How do you improve audio quality? Like you want the bit rate of audio to go out higher?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. I know it exists. I think it's in your audio settings or it's in your output. Yes, it's in. I believe it is in your OBS settings under output. I'm just poking around to see if there's anywhere else that I would find it. General sample rate? No. Yeah, it looks like the bit rate. It looks like the bit rate's actually fixed. Interesting. Rate control. That's a good question. That might be one for Google. And there are, yeah, there's some good tutorials on like how to trick out my stream to make it look good, like just in the OBS settings, like setting kind of like a fixed output bit rate and stuff like that. Some more kind of like stuff that's sort of outside the scope of this workshop. But I hope that I've gotten everybody to the point where you can kind of like smash plugs into ports and like bang your head on OBS a bunch of times and get really confused, and then like find the YouTube tutorial to like get you through like X part of the process. Like, why isn't CaptaGen working? Or why is my audio bit rate sound weird? Or like, why does it sound like there's two mics or whatever? Why did my camera stop? Why isn't anybody typing in chat anymore? No, that's for next week. Mas? Sleepy. Yeah, don't forget to sleep, Cassandra. Full brain. That's the plan. Okay, I don't hear any other burning questions, so I guess I'll hand it back to Arlene. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.